Welcome back to Bands and Beers, the podcast where we crack open a beer and sit down with musicians doing cool stuff. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Kyle.
Today we're hanging out with Alexander Yearns, and we're trying a special collaboration beer from Neck of the Woods Brewing. Now it's time for Beer History, a temporary segment we have running through spring and summer to keep you learning while school's out. Take it away, Kyle.
All right, for today's beer history, let's look at one of the boldest real estate deals in brewing history. We all know the name Guinness. Back in 1759, Arthur Guinness was a 34-year-old brewer looking for a place to set up shop in Dublin. He found a dilapidated, unused brewery at St. James Gate. It had very little equipment and was in rough shape. The owner wanted it rented out, so Arthur made an offer. He didn't sign a standard 1-year or 10-year lease. Arthur Guinness signed a lease for 9,000 years at a flat rate of, get this, £45 per year. That is not a typo, 9,000 years. He was so confident in his recipe and his vision that he locked in his rent until the year 10,759. It paid off. Within 10 years, he was exporting his beer, and today that exact same site is a global brewing powerhouse spanning 50 acres. That original lease with Arthur's signature is still preserved under glass at the Guinness Storehouse in Dublin. It stands as a testament to the ultimate bet on yourself. That's all I have for today in our beer history lesson. Nikki, can you give us the scoop on our brewery we're tasting?
All right, everyone, let's get into today's Brewery Spotlight. We're heading down to South Jersey, specifically Pitman, New Jersey, to check out Neck of the Woods Brewing. Pitman is a historical small town, and Neck of the Woods has carved out a very unique space, since they were founded in a rustic, family-owned operation in 2019. What makes this spot interesting is its location. It's tucked away inside the rear of Total Turf Experience Sports Complex. You can sit in their tasting room, which has these massive 20-foot ceilings, and look through the windows straight into the indoor pickleball and basketball courts, as well as their 10-barrel production area. It is a completely different atmosphere from a typical warehouse brewery. The beer we are focusing on today is a collaboration. Neck of the Woods teamed up with Philadelphia Eagles legend, former quarterback Ron Jaworski, aka Jaws. By combining his nickname with Jawn, the ultimate South Jersey and Philly universal noun, they created the Jaws Jawn. Let's actually get the beers out and have a pour. Kyle, would you do the honor of pouring the beers?
Sure would.
While you do that, let's get into the glass. Today we're drinking Jaws Jawn. This is a classic American Pilsner. To understand this style, you have to look at the brewing process. What qualifies a beer as an American Pilsner is the specific use of Native American ingredients to adapt traditional European brewing methods. When German immigrant brewers came to the US, they found that native 6-row barley had much higher protein levels than European barley. On its own, that barley could make the beer cloudy and harsh. To solve this, they introduced adjuncts. They substituted 20 to 30% of the malt with flaked maize or rice. The corn or rice supplies the starches needed for fermentation, but dilutes the heavy protein of the 6-row barley. This creates a brilliant, clear beer. At 4.2% ABV, Jaws Jawn is a great example of this pre-prohibition style. In the glass, it is a bright golden color. On the nose, you get that distinct, mild, grainy sweetness that comes from the corn adjunct. When you take a sip, it is remarkably clean. You get a crisp, smooth lager character with enough hop bitterness to offset the sweetness of the corn. It provides a snappy, refreshing finish without any harsh aftertaste. It's unpretentious and a great representation of American brewing history. Okay, describing this beer in a 3-word review. Kyle.
I can't wait to describe this beer. This is a fun new thing we're doing, a little 3-word review. Little challenge for you. All right, here we go. Light, clean. Smooth. What do you got, Nikki?
I got crisp, tangy, golden.
Golden. Love it.
Crisp, tangy, golden.
I like that. I picked mine because this is the type of beer that if you asked me to chug this, I swear to God, I could chug 20 of these. I mean, I would have alcohol poisoning and you would have to immediately take me to the hospital. But when I tell you that this is so easy going down, it's light, it's clean, it's clear, it's clean, it's under control. Hopefully we don't get copyright hit. Isn't that like a...
It might be a brand.
A skin... I remember it. I can't remember the skincare brand.
Maybe like...
Clean, clear, and under control.
I think we're like showing our millennial right now. I'm pretty sure that's like the Proactive.
Yeah, Proactive. All right, we are not sponsored by them. just to be clear. Yeah, no, it's really good. Super poundable.
Yeah, it's really good. So I picked up these beers. Actually, I was in Brigantine over Memorial Day weekend, and there is a farmer's market, and these guys were there and talked to us about their brewery, and were really nice to us, so we picked it up at the farmer's market. Haven't been to the actual location. I think looking at a pickleball court or basketball court while you're drinking beer sounds really fun. Mm-hmm. Like having some entertainment built into your brewery experience. Mm-hmm. Something I haven't seen before. I
love that.
Yeah.
It reminds me a bit of the brewery I went to in Pennsylvania a couple weeks ago. Went on a trip with my friends. It was rock and roll themed, so the entire brewery was filled with cool... It felt like you were at a rock venue. They had huge speakers and like racks filled with gear and professional lighting rigs like over the bar so that they could put their regular bar lights and cool stage lights like all around the bar. Super cool. If I'm being honest, we tried a lot of the beers, didn't like a single one. God, but the vibe was so cool in there.
I feel like I've really struck out with, you said you were in Philly when you did this?
It wasn't Philly, it was in Pennsylvania. I'm trying to remember the name of the town, but I'll get back to you on it.
Yeah, I've like really been striking out with the Pennsylvania breweries.
Yeah, it's all good. I went to a distillery too this past weekend. Show in Industry City, Brooklyn, and what a cool area. I'd never been there. It's got this college vibe because every building would be like along the road, and you could cross through each building, and then there would be like a garden, open, walkable area with picnic tables and trees and paths that wind, very just like no cars, walkable. And then you'd go into the next building, and there would be brewery, shop. They had like classes for learning how to weld and glass blowing, like the establishments that set up shop in the Industry City, and it was like the whole vibe. And I was like, this is so cool, so walkable. It literally felt like you were a part of a real community in a city in New York, which sometimes can feel a little lost, and it can feel like a very like car city where it's not like that. But this area, and it was just blocks of this, so you would just go from one road into a building, cool stuff, through it, garden, through to the next building, cool stuff, next block. And you would be like across the street, and you would just keep going that way. I think it was like 5 or 6 blocks. Really, really cool. Would love to go back. And the show was outside, even in the rain. Very cool. Lights flashing across the buildings, making the buildings and all the scaffolding and the balconies and fire escapes light up. It was so cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's so sick. I have not been there. But speaking of the city, I guess carrying into our weekend update segment.
Oh yeah, we're there.
We have landed in the weekend update segment. It's really incredible how living in New Jersey or the New York area, you just have access to so many different things.
I know.
You can do so many things. It's so exciting to live here. Speaking of the city, yesterday, as I told Kyle earlier, I crossed off something on my bucket list where I walked from the very top of Manhattan to the bottom. It's about 15 miles. And I was reminded of how unique this area is because just walking that far, just every few blocks, like there's a total vibe shift. Just the culture's changed. I saw a lot of areas that I normally wouldn't have visited in the city and I hadn't been before. And it's just incredible how diverse the New York area can be and how much history there is. There were a lot of really cool architecture structures that we saw, like churches and monuments, and just really old residential buildings. Even the architecture of those things, so ornate, and just was a really, really cool experience. And like you said too, getting the feel more of what a neighborhood and community type of energy feels like in New York can be very different than what we might experience going to Midtown.
Yeah, Times
work.
Square or something like that. Yeah.
Which we call Work Island.
Yeah, exactly. So. I couldn't agree more. It's really interesting how we can spend our entire lives living so close to the city, and there's still these pockets that we just have never been to, and I'm still discovering new things, and there's always a new place to check out.
It is.
Very exciting stuff. Yeah. We're going to get Alexander Yearns in here, an incredibly talented singer-songwriter and a good friend of us here at the podcast. Stick around for that conversation.
I was really hurting, knees just started shaking. I was sitting waiting.
All right, we're back with Alexander Yearns here. So excited and happy to have him with us. He is one of our very talented friends with a unique sound, and I'm sure a lot to say today. Alexander, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm really good. It's Sunday, New Jersey, so
yeah,
it's always nice and chill. This beer tastes great.
Yeah, thanks for showing up and having some beer with us. You mentioned you haven't really done a whole lot of interviews, so I'm excited to.
Not one.
That's
amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And
not even a job interview?
All of those I've done too many of those actually. Yeah, especially recently, but yes, a lot of those.
Well, cool. Yeah, it's going to be no pressure, We just want to talk about you. We want to talk about like where you came up and how your music evolved and your writing process and your stylistic choices of, we'll cover it all. But let's start with the beginning. How did you fall in love with music?
The beginning. So I was a very nosy kid, and I was just like rummaging through my uncle's stuff one day because he used to live like underneath us in Palisades Park. And I came across this disc set, Elvis Presley box set. It was like the complete 1950s remasters.
Awesome.
And it was like 6 discs. And it was honestly the picture on the cover that captivated me. I was like, who is this? And then I was just obsessed with Elvis for like years. And I was kind of like a low-key Elvis impersonator at home.
Get out.
Yeah. I would like.
At what age were you again?
Like 6 or 7.
I love it.
So like for
so
a few
fun.
years, I was doing like Elvis concerts at home for my parents. I would sit them down in the living room and like impersonate him. And that's how it started. Yeah.
It's incredible how like that. It's just like the artist. Like if it was Bowie, maybe it would have been completely different, and maybe your musical trajectory would have been completely different.
Absolutely.
Elvis specifically, and I feel like it just lends itself to sort of what I know from your music, and like there's this edgier, rockier side to you that just feels very like old school and like smooth and cool.
It's amazing how Elvis transcends time that way too.
Yeah.
Like he died in 1977, and then here's some kid in like, I'm trying to do the math here, 2002, comes across it, it just blows my mind, like his level of impact. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, you can definitely hear it. As soon as you said that, it clicked for me, and I was like, oh, it all makes sense. That's why Alexander's music makes sense. Yeah, we were listening before you got here and talking about how your music does really have that timeless energy to it.
Yeah, very raw.
Yeah.
There's a sense of romance. There's a sense of yearning. Mm-hmm. There's just, I know very few artists who can do what you do when it's just so raw in the sense that like there's not a whole lot of production necessarily going on at some points. Sometimes it's just you and a guitar, and I can feel the feelings coming through so cleanly because there's nothing else for my brain to go to. And really appreciate that about your music. But to stay more on top of how you got there, so when did you start playing instruments? What instruments can you play? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I started with drums first. I don't know why. Like till this day, I don't know why I gravitated towards the drums. But 7 or 8 years old, started playing drums, and then when I got into school, I did some choir, like chorus and stuff like that, and like learning sheet music on the drums. And then eventually, I was like a jazz drummer for my high school, and then I got into rock drumming. I was playing in bands as a drummer for a long time, like 6 years, 7 years. And then somewhere along the way, I picked up a guitar. I remember maybe around 13, I picked up a guitar. I just learned some chords. That was it.
Did you have a drum kit in your house already? Like, what was the attitude? I guess taking a step back, what was the attitude around music in your house, your parents? Did you... I think when you're a kid, it can be hard to ask your parents for a drum kit. So did you have one?
That's what I did. I asked them. Yeah, I asked them for a drum kit. I don't know why. I can't remember what the connection was, but I don't know. I just asked for a drum kit. They got me like a really beginner set. And my dad had a big influence on what we listened to. He grew up in the 70s and the 80s. Like what we call dad rock today. He's like an encyclopedia of dad rock. And like, anytime driving around, he would have Q1043 on, and I would ask him, "What's this song? What's this song?" He would always know. He would never not know what the song was called. So I think I mean.
And he didn't play music or anything. He just had a passion for it.
He just had a passion for it, deep interest for music. He was still is a graphic designer, so he's more of like an illustrator, graphic design. But he loved dancing. I know he used to go to like Studio 54 and stuff. And like even like when him and my mom met, they would go dancing, and so they loved disco. And yeah, he just loves music. Yeah, so I think a lot of his music rubbed off on me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So getting into the drums, getting into guitar, now comes a point, I assume, where you're learning how to play songs that you love, and then comes the writing. Walk us through that experience.
I think being a drummer for so long, it gave me a very unique experience in terms of songwriting. Because being a drummer, you have a big hand in structuring the music, and of course, rhythm. And so I think the level of structure and the rhythm that I knew with drums translated to the guitar. And I don't know, after I learned like a bunch of chords, I felt very natural for me to just like start structuring things and playing rhythmically. I was never like a solo, or I still don't really know. I'm not that's not my strong suit. Like soloing on a guitar, like I don't know, I just don't do it. So I think I owe that to the drums. I just started I didn't really learn any covers.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's really, really
I
interesting.
didn't get
just
into
jamming?
just jamming really,
Nice.
just playing chords. Yeah. But I think being a drummer for so long and being part of a band and helping a songwriter structure their music really just helped me a lot understand that perspective. And then, I just started writing music more so when I was like maybe 19 or 20. But for the longest time, like between 13 years old and 19, for me, it was like blank. Anytime I sat down to try to write something, it was such a mystery to me. It was just nothing for so long. I was like, how do you do this? Like, how do you actually, where do you start? What do you write about? Like, what do you tap into? And then, yeah, eventually it just happened. I don't know.
It's really, really interesting to me that you weren't playing covers, because I think a lot of musicians' experiences are that they learn how to write through playing covers in their early music education. And then they start to notice chord patterns or whatever, elements that they like.
That's why I love what you said about the drums, because being structured in that way and knowing this is what a verse is. This is how long it should be. This is when the rhythm should feel a shift to do maybe a pre-chorus or a chorus. I love that.
Yeah, it's almost like you kind of went backwards in a way. Like you learned it backwards by like you were playing like the rhythm section and just hearing maybe you were hearing the original music around you and like using that to kind of hear what you liked a little bit.
Yeah. And I think maybe my version of like learning covers was learning all those Elvis songs, like learning how to sing all those songs and the lyrics and the, you know, verses, bridge, chorus, stuff like, because I mean, his songs were pretty traditionally structured as well. So maybe like subconsciously, like I, you know, absorbed a lot of that.
Were you always singing
Yeah.
since a young age?
Yeah. Yeah. Ever
No
since,
vocal lessons or anything like that?
other than like being a part of the chorus in school. No, not really. I think that was like the only like formal like experience, like training that I got as far as singing. Yeah.
Cool. Tell us about some of the early music projects that you were in, the first bands that you were in, how those formed, and what those meant to your career as it is now.
So the first real band I was a part of was a band called Morningside Lane. And that was with my brother, my older brother, and Jawn. You guys know Jawn Khan. He's now Blue Vervain. So it was us three at first, and then Jawn and I began working at a restaurant in Cliffside, and that's where we met like a bunch of the other band members. So I was the youngest of the group, and what was the question?
Just about the early bands that you were in.
Yeah. No, honestly, that one for like 5 or 6 years. That was like the one that I was in. It was like
a long time.
Yeah. I mean, there were deep attachments to go along with it. It's my brother and our childhood best friend. And we were serious. Like we really wanted to, you know, and we did a lot. I mean, we toured, played a bunch of shows. We made a bunch of EPs and records and stuff like that. I mean, that's where I got a lot of my like real life experience, I think. Just like meeting people, being super young, playing in clubs, getting a lot of real raw experiences, especially on the road. Never went to college either. So like, I think that's like my college experience, I guess, for like 5 years. I was just in a band, doing a lot of fun stuff. And then we did one big tour in the UK for like a month. And then that was it for me. I think I was the first one to kind of quit. And that was like dramatic for everybody because it was like, you know, like you're like the core member, you're leaving, you know, it was a lot of drama. But after that, I started another band. It was called the Honey Hounds. It was for like 6 months though. It was a real flash in the pan. It was like, and then after that, I was like, you know, bands are really hard. They're like really hard to keep together. So I was like, I'm just gonna do a solo artist thing and see where it takes me, see where it goes. Because I can't deal with like other people right now. You know, it's like a real relationship times 3 or 4 or however many people you have in a band. So yeah.
That was actually one of my questions was around. I think I've seen you play with other musicians like once or twice, but I know that mostly you play solo. And do you think that decision could be a combination of these things, but I would imagine it's like partially like you're saying that it's hard because of schedules and like logistics, but also creatively it can be hard too. Do you think that both of those things are true for you and how you perceive the challenge of working with other musicians? Or
yeah, I think it's unique to each band. Like with my first band, for example, it was a lot of I don't think we had any issues with logistics or anything like that. We were very close knit. We were all very dedicated. It was more of like feelings, like emotions and creative differences. And then like I think more recently, as I've gotten older, it's less emotions and feelings and more like logistics and like how to actually schedule and like, you know, people are balancing their professional lives, like whatever they do for work or for money, and then their passions. And it's hard to like, you know, go all in, I guess, when you're afraid of like security and stuff like that.
Right.
And then just the complexity of everybody's lives. I mean, artists are complex people to begin with. And then, trying to get everybody together is really hard as well, especially when you live like, I've been trying to jam with a bunch of my friends recently, but we all live in like, one's in Brooklyn, I'm in New Providence, another one's in Piermont, New York, and then one's in Jersey City. So it's like on top of the stuff that we do just personally, it's like, well, like how is this actually gonna come together? So sometimes the stars align though. Like I had a band recently, and we were able to cut a live record with and put out, and that was really cool. But like the way I look at and feel towards bands right now is like it's transient. It's like I play solo sometimes, or if the band's working out, then we can play as a band together. But it's never like I don't know, I guess you'd call it a backing band, I suppose. Yeah. So I like to keep it open now.
Yeah, I think that's a cool way to approach it.
Yeah.
For sure.
So getting into like live recording is always a cool and different experience. So I'm curious about that live album and any other live recordings that you've done. Which songs do you feel more connected to, or the experience versus live recording and studio producing, doing take by take, stuff like that?
Yeah, for a long time, I really hated recording. I really didn't like it. Something about like the permanence of it, kind of freaks me out. And then, if I have a song that I wrote on an acoustic guitar, the way I see it is like it can be produced one of many ways, handful of ways, and then it depends who you're working with and how you're working with. So like, if you're booking like a studio day and it's like 12-hour session and you're paying a flat fee and it's like you have this time constraint, that kind of adds like a variable that, that just not, it just feels unfair because you're like, oh man, like I gotta come prepared, or I gotta go in there and I have to like the first things that I do, like if we're gonna get some work done, or I've been really lucky to work with people who have different like structures where they're like, yeah, just pay me when it's finished. Like, oh, that's awesome because there's no time constraint. But the live record I was really proud of because that band was amazing. I mean, Andy Dash, Aaron Flower, Liam Karekis. We only played like maybe 5 or 6 shows total. But that live record was a total accident. Like we had a show at this loft in Jersey City. When we got there, everyone was like in a bad mood for some reason. We were all cranky. I don't know why. It was just like, I don't know, we were all feeling a little bit down. And then when we went upstairs, to our surprise, it was like a full production. Like they had everything mic'd up. My friend Joey was there doing sound. And they even had like pro video like going on. Yeah. I've never seen the video though. I don't know what happened to it.
Interesting.
I don't know what happened to it. Never seen it.
A mystery.
But a mystery. They did film it though. I know it's somewhere in someone's hard drive out there. It's out there. But and they were like, yeah, we're gonna record the night. I was like, okay, wow, cool, that's awesome. And sound check took a very long time. It was like an hour sound check. It was very like, at some point I was like, oh, can we just play? Like, I'm getting out of the mood. But yeah, we ended up playing. It was really cool. And then like a whole year went by. And then Joey emailed me with the concert that we recorded. And I was like, this sounds really good, actually. Why don't we go into mixing it? So we had some sessions at his house, just mixing it. It took like a month to mix. And that was it. I was like, this is cool. Like, I want to put this out.
It's awesome.
Wow, so that was not intentional.
Not intentional at all.
That's so crazy because it sounds intentional. I didn't know that you just like showed up at a spot and...
The record fell into my lap. Literally, like, I'm so grateful for that record. It was like magic because I've always wanted to put a record out like that, like, because my studio records are stripped down, they're raw, they're, especially Phoenix is very acoustic and just like dry. But I've always wanted to put out like a hard rockin' record out, and it just fell out of the sky. And I was like, oh, I didn't go through any of the like psychological nightmares that come with the studio or anything like that. Like, it didn't cost me anything, So it was just super cool.
And you felt like rock solid about the performance all the way around? Because I know sometimes like I've been in bands where like I'll hear a live recording or whatever, and maybe like, oh, I did this one thing, and it just like sticks in my head, and I'm like, I could never release it because I missed that one note or whatever, stuff like that.
No, I mean, it was a miracle.
That's
It was a true like miracle. Except for like, there was one song in All She Wrote where I don't want to throw Andres under the bus, but he totally messed up the like a minute and a half of the bass section. Like totally, and but the take was everything else was perfect. It was so good, and I love that song. And I was like, Joey, we have to find a way to fix this. Like we have to. So we took bass parts from the first section and we moved them over. We did a lot of surgery to make it work. So you can't tell. We fixed it.
Amazing.
That was the only thing that ever happened with that record. Everything else was just a matter of mixing.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Amazing.
That's amazing. I mean, I think that's a cool thing about the time we're living in today is that if you want to, you have a scenario like that, you can keep the authenticity from the take and then use the modern tools to tweak it to get it like to be correct.
Yeah. I mean, if you can, why not? You know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Very cool. So one thing I wanted to ask you about is I really admire the cohesiveness of your branding as a musician. I think it's really locked in. I think,
Thank you, because I don't think it is.
No one does, by the way.
Okay.
I don't know if anyone does, but I mean, for as long as I've known you and heard your music, I've always felt that like you just do what you want to do, and it ends up being cool because you're not trying hard. But I wonder where that natural instinct comes from. Are you big into film? Do you look at certain musicians? Like, how do you get your inspiration and energy for your output as an artist?
Yeah, I love film. I've always loved film. I don't know. I think maybe I have a good concept of concepts. I don't know. Like Phoenix, for example. It's like album of transformation, and it all came from one place. Like it's from the same studio. And I mean, a lot of the times, like for albums, I have like 3 or 4 songs that I wrote in 1 week, but then there are a couple that I wrote like 2 or 3 years ago or something like that. So I'm like, I look into those things and I'm like, how can I piece this together? How can I make it make sense? And maybe it has something to do with just, I don't know, just it all coming from the same place. Like it's all coming from me. So it's like, just kind of happens that way. I don't know. I don't think too much about that, but it's cool that you think that the branding is on point, and because I struggle with the whole social media thing and the look of everything and especially content. Like I'm not a content person. It's like for me, it's like pulling teeth to like make content. It's really uncomfortable.
We hear that a lot too.
It can be hard.
There's so many layers to being an artist. And I like what you said, just like, I like film and concepts come easier. I think that the aesthetic part and the music part can sometimes be easy, but sometimes it's other parts that are more complicated. But you also mentioned earlier, just artists are complex people. And sometimes you see artists who maybe are just trying the music thing because they think it's cool and they don't really have any other artistic vision. And you see a lot of like lacking in the other parts of the artwork, the theme of the album that tells a story or has a intention, and I feel that really strongly in your music and your releases and stuff. So it's really cool. I think when we're in this place where it's like, it's all on you, you better figure it out. No one's going to help you because record labels aren't coming to pick up nobodies anymore. Can be a lot of pressure, and you can often, I know a lot of artists that we talk to are like, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just trying different things, seeing what sticks. So I understand the feeling, but it definitely comes through that you have a natural artistic vision. You can see that for sure.
Yeah, and it feels patient. Even what you just said a couple seconds ago, where you're like, like my album, I have some that I wrote more recently, but then some I wrote a long time ago. Some artists, they might be rushing to put things out, but it seems like your process incorporates patience in that you're like not itching to do something half-baked. Like it feels like you're willing to wait and to just be patient with the process so you can get the right thing. so that it's what your vision is. How do you agree with that? And like, how have you cultivated that, you think?
Yeah, I think I've just I put a lot of importance on the art itself, on the craft, like even financially, like the money I've invested into my albums. If I gave you like the itemized receipts, you'd be like, dude, what the hell? But when I was like in my early 20s and even leading up to my mid 20s, I was living at home and I was making a decent amount of money for someone my age. And so I was like, I'll just dump all the money into the making of the records, going into these really cool studios, Strange Weather, which is no longer there anymore, unfortunately. But, their rates are really high. And I love their vintage gear and their equipment and the sound that my buddy Garrett was able to capture for me during those years. And so I put a lot of importance on the craft and maybe not enough on the marketing and the push and the rollout of these records, which is something that I'm trying to kind of flip around, especially at this point in my life. Things are a little bit different for me and I have to be a little more scrappy about how I record records these days because I don't live at home and I haven't for some years now. So it's, I'm trying to evolve how I work right now. I'm in the middle of that actually. So
There's also a point in your career as a musician where it's like, okay, I've released a lot of good music. Now it's like of course you're going to keep making music and it's going to keep being great, but rather than just putting all the focus only on the new, you can take the time and the effort and the monetary incentive and put it towards the old as well and be like, look, there is a catalog here. There is stuff from the past, as long as you're still proud of it, and put it out there.
I've had friends mention that and say, hey, man, you don't have to let this stuff like sit on the rack and collect dust. Like you can actually do stuff with this if you want to put money behind it or, re-release it or use it for content. Like you can do that. That is a Blue Vervain hat. Okay. Cool. I'm just realizing that now. I mentioned them before, but so that whole aspect of it right now is something that I'm exploring. I have an EP that I've been working on. It's been put on the back burner a little bit. It's nearly finished. So I do want to release more music. But at the same time, I want to shift into like properly releasing it because I've never really done that.
And you mentioned the studios that you've worked at and liking vintage sound and older gear. Do you have any experiences, any specific things that you're looking for when you're going to record? Is it different if it's solo versus with a band? And what kind of studios and what kind of sounds get you in their door?
I really appreciate like tape to reel recorders because I know that I can run the final mix through them. Even though I would love to record with tape from the get-go, but that's very expensive. Maybe someday. But so I always look for that. And I'm not I'm not too knowledgeable on gear, to be honest. I'm not. I use a lot of adjectives with my like producers and engineers and stuff to help me get there, and they know what they're doing. But Strange Weather, when I went there, I saw that they had a lot of vintage guitars. They had a lot of like weird small amps and a lot of like cool keyboards and like a pump organ, and especially the microphones, like the old Newmans and stuff like that. A lot of vintage gear in there. So I was like, I think I can get this cinematic sound. Even talking to Garrett at the time, he was like, yeah, we have this and that. He was, I don't memorize the specs really. But yeah, I remember just having that conversation with him and him being like, yeah, we can definitely achieve, what you're going for with what we have here.
Yeah. What was your experience working with Garrett? I've worked with him before, but before I share, what do you like about working with him?
So with Garrett, we went through a long journey because recorded my first EP with him. It was like a full band production. I played a lot of the instruments like drums and keyboards and stuff like that. We built it from the ground up. And then for a long time, we had maybe 2 or 3 sessions where I wanted to record another album with a full band production, and it just wasn't working out. I don't know. I don't know. I think it was more so me, just like I was getting real emotional about like what I wanted and I wasn't getting it. And it was really like a struggle. And then one day he was like, hey, why don't you just like come in and record all the songs live on your acoustic guitar, and then we'll put the instrumentation to it afterwards. And I was like, really scared to do that because it was kind of like a leap of faith. It's like, you spend all this money for a 12-hour day, and he's just like, yeah, just come in and just record it on the acoustic guitars. Like, do it as you normally would do it. Like basically like trust yourself. And because I like leading up to that point, I had so many failed sessions, I was desperate. And I was like, all right, fine, we'll do it. And that's how Phoenix was made, honestly.
That's crazy.
So like I really give him the credit of that. I mean, him and we both got pretty like attached to the work emotionally. So we bordered a lot between like keeping it professional, but also like, hey, like I care about this work too, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So we've had some tough conversations in the past about stuff like that. And we've even like had a record that was never released. So I mean, but I love him. I mean, like I worked with him recently on another project with one of my other buddies, like a collaborative thing. And now he's working in I think Lower East Side right now. He's
Nice.
no longer at Strange Weather, but you worked with Garrett for Blue Vervain stuff or your personal project? Okay, cool.
Yeah, we did. John, I think we did a full album with him. It was so long ago. My memory's not great. But yeah, he was phenomenal to work with. I felt like he did a good job balancing between being like an objective like participant when we had creative differences in the band.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like he was really good at taking all of our feedback and giving us a really honest answer about what direction we should likely go in.
Mm-hmm.
And I really appreciate that honesty because I think as an engineer or producer, it can be easy to just want to make the client happy and just yes them. And it's less easy to interject and give them hard feedback. But that's what makes a great album.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, echoing, I guess, a lot of your feelings there. It's really cool that he challenged you to do that because I think in a lot of musician biopics and band biopics, there's always that moment in the movie where they're like desperate for a good album and the producer's just like, get in there and just do something, like just do it how you would do it.
Exactly.
And then they just wing it. And that ends up being the take.
Exactly.
And that happened with you.
It did.
It was a Hollywood
It was a
moment.
Hollywood. Yeah, we had our movie moment together.
Very cool.
Yeah, and he totally ignited that, and I wouldn't have had Phoenix without that. So, yeah, Garrett.
That's very cool. I'm glad that you shared the story behind that album.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's really important to work with other people. And you mentioned some of the roots across New York, New Jersey. How do you feel about the independent sort of music community in this area? How have you connected with it, and what does it mean to you?
Yeah, I love New Jersey. I love the tradition of music that New Jersey has. I want to be a part of it in a big way. Like I want to be one of those titans, like Sinatra or Jovi or Springsteen or whatever. Just like carrying the torch and the tradition. And then on the level that I'm at right now, locally, it's great. I mean, Big and Tall Studios has a great thing going on in Woodbridge or Ridge? Woodridge. Yes, Woodridge. And then in Union City as well, my buddy Nick has Green Space. And I've met many artists local who are very proud to be from New Jersey. And I've been a part of many conversations where it's like, how do we like put New Jersey on the map in a bigger way? Like, how do we grow here, or how do we even get out of here? How do we take this and bring it to New York or bring it to a bigger platform and represent New Jersey in a bigger way, which I think is really cool. And then Jersey City as well. I've seen some cool things happening in Hoboken. And even coming up when I was playing in bands, the basement scene in New Brunswick. I don't know what it's like these days. I mean, I haven't been there in years, but I remember being there when I was much younger. I was like, this is cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. It's how the Gaslight Anthem came up, So,
Right.
yeah, love New Jersey. we'll always rep New Jersey for sure.
You heard it here. We have to hit this topic in every episode. We just
We
need to-
really do. For such a densely, I mean, it's one of the most densely populated areas in the entire country. So you just have all types of people, and that includes creatives, musicians, who are all intermingling because you're like on top of each other. There's so many people and there's so much going on, and you can miss an entire scene without even realizing it because you're a part of another sub scene over here, and like, but we're all here, and there's so much to do and so much going on. I often feel that it's a pro and a con, right? Because sometimes, like you said, how do we get out? Because everything's going on here. Why not just, it's comfortable, it's easy. I know that there's stuff going on all in New Jersey, and there's all these different people that are going to come see my show every time. It's not necessarily the same 20 people at a local spot in Indiana. You know, it's a very interesting and unique scene and area to be a musician and grow up and perform in. And but I hear what you're saying. It sounds like you've gotten out plenty. You've done some touring. Do you have any great tour experiences or stories that you want to share specifically?
Yeah. Well, the UK was like a very big, memorable tour. We did Scotland, Wales, England, and that was with Jawn at Morningside Lane and my brother. And we were in Edinburgh, and we played this venue, and they housed us in the apartment that was connected to the venue.
Awesome.
Okay, it was like a dungeon. It was like something out of like, I don't know, Harry Potter or something. It was really dingy. And, we played to no one. We played to the sound guy. It was one of those nights. And then we went out in the town, and it was like a Saturday night. Everyone was drinking, having a great time. And Jawn and I were looking for weed. And people were laughing in our face. They were like, "You're looking, like, come on, like we're all drinking, we're all chugging beer here. Like you're looking for." We didn't want to drink that night for some reason. Miraculously, we found weed. It's just some person standing up against a fence, and the dog.
Naturally,
yeah. We went up to her and we were like, "Hey, do you have any weed?" She's like, "Yeah, actually, I have a nugget." I'm not going to do a Scottish accent. I can't. She's like, "Yeah, I actually have a nugget right here." So we bought a nugget from her, and we just ate some pizza, whatever. Had a really good night. And then we went back to our dungeon, and when you're having a sleepover with your friends, and like you're in your bed and it's dark, but like you get the giggles and stuff. And, like,
Yeah, it's the
you're
best.
trying to go to sleep, but like you keep talking and BSing, and like you're staying up, and then like at some point in the middle of that, I was like getting a little itchy. I was like, I was like a little in denial too. I was like, getting a little itchy. And then I was sitting in my bed, and like it was maybe 3 or 4 in the morning, so like a little bit of light was coming through the cracks of the window, and I was like, Jawn, Jawn, you feeling like a little itchy or something? He's like, so we started to freak out a little bit, and then I saw something like I think I saw something hop. Like in my bed, I saw something hop. And at that point, I just flipped out. I was like, oh my God, Jawn jumped. We're both freaking out, slapping each other. Like, we have bed bugs. Like, there's bed bugs or something. Like lice. I don't know what a bed bugs. I don't know. It was gross. And so I strip and I go into the bathroom, and like everything about this place was horrible. The doorknob, the molding, like everything was horrible. But for some reason, I don't know why, maybe because of the bed bugs, they had the best shower head in the world. Like the bathroom is so crappy, there's holes in the walls, but that shower head, the water pressure and the size of it and everything, just I felt like I was hit with like a fire hose. And it just like, it helped. I was like, okay, because if it was like a a dribble or something, I was like, what am I doing? Like, so, okay, I had a great shower head, and like I was able to, get dressed and just like pack my stuff up and go outside. And then I was waiting for Jawn, and that night they had like a lot of parties in the street. So when you have the stragglers, so like it was 4 or 5 in the morning, the sun was kind of just starting to come up, and like I had my head hung. I was like sitting on a curb, and to my left there was this like guy, seemingly homeless, I think, and he was playing an acoustic guitar next to me. He was playing Everlong to me.
Nice.
I was like,
Like Dave Grohl.
Could you imagine?
Like actually,
Is this actually Dave Grohl? No, it was far from Dave Grohl, but he was playing Everlong to me, and and I was just like in a daze, I hadn't slept, I had smoked weed, like the bed bug is like super tired, pulled an all-nighter. I'm looking at him, I'm like, this is like a dream. Like and in my head, I'm like, this is crazy. What is happening? And he ends the song, and then he just like started walking up the hill and away from me. And I was like, oh God, when is this gonna end? When is this? This is a nightmare. And then Jawn eventually came out, he was like, what are we gonna do? I was like, let's go sleep in the van. We did. Yeah. And then we woke up to a ticket on the car. Oh. We woke up in the sun, like all hot and stuff. It was just, we still talk about it to this day, but definitely my most memorable tour experience.
That's a crazy story.
That's a great.
I would love to go back to Edinburgh. It's a beautiful city, everything that we saw, the castle and everything is beautiful. So I would like to go back there and redeem my time there. But that story.
That's a classic on the road, struggling, just trying to get through it.
Absolutely.
All for the music,
Yeah, that's wild. Oh my gosh. Stepping away from music for a second, we like to ask our guests what their life outside of music is like. If you have a day job, if you have other hobbies that you want to talk about with us, love to hear about that.
Yeah, I love film photography. I have an Olympus OM4 Ti. Anytime I travel, I take it with me. I love it. I love the look, whether it's black and white or color. I love doing it. I love like the mechanical part of it. It's very like what do they say these days? It's like a fidget, I don't know, like it gets me off in a way. It itches a lot of like different itches for me, and love doing that. I love coffee. I worked in specialty coffee for a long time, so latte art and all that stuff. Like I have a La Marzocco at home. Love coffee. Love doing it. Drinking it, of course. And I don't know. Other than that, I kind of live under a rock. I don't know. I haven't had cable in over 10 years. I don't have any streaming services really. I live a little remotely for the past 2 years in New Providence. I've been living alone for almost 2 years. I read and I don't know. I live a pretty quiet life actually. So I'm thinking when my lease is up, I do want to move to a city or something. Maybe Brooklyn, maybe Jersey City. I don't know. Leaving Jersey would be a big deal for me. I've done it once. I lived in Pennsylvania for 2 years. I don't claim it, but from Pennsylvania, when I moved back to New Jersey, I think for the time it made sense for me to be remote because I was coming out of a really rough time and I just had to reset and regroup or whatever. But now coming out of this, I think I'm ready to move into a city. Yeah. Before I'm old. Before I'm 40 or something, 40 or whatever.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That's a very different life to be unplugged today because I think very few people are not, just constantly scrolling and doing that whole thing.
I still struggle with phone addiction, just like anyone else, really.
Yeah.
But as far as streaming, I'm not really into shows that much.
Yeah.
Like movies.
Nice.
Yeah.
Working, are you doing any solid day gigs, or are you kind of here and there?
I've been happily unemployed for almost 2 months. And right now, I was in sales. I did coffee for a long time, specialty coffee, a lot of cafe operations, building cafes, menus and programs and stuff like that. And then I got into sales actually for a coffee company because I just wanted some different experience. And I had a natural knack for it. So I eventually became a sales manager. I did that for 2 years. And then I got laid off just because of, corporate stuff.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful to have gotten laid off because I'm I was thinking about leaving anyway. I saw it coming. It was 3 months before I got laid off, I started looking for jobs because I was I've seen this before. I can see it coming. I just want to be ready. Yeah. And I did get laid off, and since then, that was mid-April. So since then, I've decided to just explore my creativity more, my artistry. Yeah. Just chill and not rush into a job and be extremely picky about whatever kind of job I'll get next. Yeah. And at the same time, playing here and there, picking up cash gigs, and It's been cool. I'm living in like the mystery of life right now, which is it's been really awesome. And just like recovering and stuff, because corporate life, I don't know, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Super wild. I'm glad you're taking advantage of the time and being intentional with it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
One time my dad told me, it was before I ever got my first out of college in the field I wanted professional job. He was like, I was like so stressed and so anxious, and he was like, you're going to work for the rest of your life. If you're going to have a period of time where you're not working, learn to enjoy it.
Yeah.
I've been laid off for similar reasons, corporate, whatever, they can't afford whatever. And I just said, awesome. I'm going to enjoy, I'm not going to stress.
Yeah.
I'm going to enjoy the time, get in touch with myself and what I want moving forward. Because a lot of people are just like, oh, gotta find the next thing,
Yeah. That's exactly where I am. Yeah. And I've even rejected job offers.
Yeah.
I've rejected them too. Because it's like, I've gotten job offers that are like part of the old paradigm where I'm like, I don't want to do this. Like, this is a great opportunity. It's like, this guy's handing me a job on a silver platter, but this is not what I want to do anymore. And I'm not going to make this decision out of fear or doubt or anything like that. I know there's something better. Like, I know what I'm looking for. So I'm, lending to that, like taking advantage of the time, just being super grateful for it and being super picky about what's coming,
I love that. It's like you're bringing an attitude of, this was supposed to happen. It's like in the plan. And I'm not panicking because of that. And I'm not going to put myself in a situation that is going to lead to an outcome I don't want, or like repeat a cycle.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because it happened to me before too. When I was living in PA, I got laid off. Same thing, corporate thing, blah, blah, blah. Couldn't afford me, whatever. And 2 months later, like, I rushed into a job. And then literally 2 years later, to the month, same position. I'm in the same position, So I'm like, I could have taken a job. I could have started by June, but I was like, I will have literally repeated a pattern.
Yeah.
And it's so clear to me, I can't do it. I literally can't. I will not.
That patience in your
Yeah.
artistry translates to your life. That's very cool to see that.
Nice.
Very cool. So we did something different for this interview that we hadn't done before, and we asked one of your friends to give us a question
Really?
to ask you.
Okay. Am I allowed to know who this friend is?
Just take a
Kyle,
guess.
this one's for you.
How would you rate Keith Carroll on a scale of 1 to 10 as a sound guy?
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I know who this is. Keith Carroll, 2 R's, 2 L's.
2 R's, 2 L's. It's
R's,
actually
2
in
L's.
the question. He
course.
wrote 2 R's, 2 L's.
Well, it depends what we're rating him on. As a sound guy, I think he was great. I don't remember any hiccups or complaining about anything. I mean, I don't remember if there were monitors, though, or not. I don't remember. I wonder if John remembers. It was an outdoor gig. I don't remember. But the gig went well. And as a person, I think he's a stand-up guy. I mean, I think like he will protect someone if he had to. If there was a
story.
do you know that story? Do you know that part of the story?
I might know it vaguely, but our listeners don't. So please tell us.
I think he will. Yes, he has proven that he will protect someone who is in danger. So that's cool.
Sure.
That's cool. And I mean, he's a great sport. I mean, we tormented him for like a long time after that. Despite, I don't know, prank calling him a lot.
What happened? This was a producer, sound engineer that you guys met on the road, and then tell us the story.
Yeah. So we.
You don't have to if you don't want to. You really don't.
No. I don't mind at all. This was when I was in the band. I was playing drums, and we were playing at Jones Beach Amphitheater. But we were playing like the side stage, like where they have concessions and stuff. And he was the sound guy, Keith Carroll. He had a handlebar mustache. He always introduced himself as Keith Carroll, 2 R's, 2 L's, and that stuck with us. So immediately to us, he was like this character. He's like, who's this guy, And then there was an incident where we played the show, and the lead singer of the band slapped someone on stage.
What?
Yeah, like there was an altercation.
Sure.
So, they got into an argument and slapped him. And it was a loud slap. Like, when you dap someone up and it's like a really good one, it's like pop.
Yeah.
But a slap, and it like echoed in the in the hallways of the amphitheater and stuff, and everyone heard it. And Keith Carroll came to the rescue. Like, he ran up. You know, he's not in the best shape either. He had a big like beer belly and like older guy, but he ran up on that stage and he got in between the people, and he was basically there to protect the person who got slapped, I guess. So that was like a thing, you know, and but I think we ended on good terms. I think he was like, yeah, if you want to work with me again, here's my number. So I think that's how we got his number, and then we ended up prank calling him a lot because we were just devious. We were just, I don't know. He loved prank calling, John and I. Yeah, we thought we were really good at it. So yeah.
I can say from experience, you guys are.
That's a fun story. I'm glad that John gave us a question for you. And we could bring up that fun memory for you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're at the time now where we're going to hit our lightning round. So I'll give you the scoop on that. So Kyle's going to ask you some really random questions. We haven't even read them before.
Okay.
So they might be really bizarre.
No
Okay,
idea.
cool.
No.
Okay.
Just answer as fast as you can.
As fast as I can. That's
Fast
the idea,
as you
right?
can. Quick.
Yep, top of the head.
If you need to skip, you can.
Okay.
All right. We'll allow it.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Let me put the timer on.
Here we go. And no peeking, by the way.
Look at
I can't.
them.
No, I can't even read the words from
Okay,
here.
good.
My vision's blurry.
Okay, well, not good, but...
3, 2, 1.
All right, what is the superior pasta shape?
Rigatoni.
A random pet peeve.
Random pet peeve? I guess when people like ride behind your, like ride your ass on the road. Yeah.
Conspiracy theory you secretly believe.
Oh my goodness. Skip.
Nice. Which animal would be the most terrifying if it could speak?
Turtles.
What is the worst pizza topping in existence?
Meatball.
If you could delete one app from everyone's phone, what would it be?
Contacts.
Which fictional character would you trust to manage your tour?
Sam Wisely.
What is your completely useless hidden talent?
It's not so hidden anymore, but
Best smell in the world.
Givenchy, gentlemen.
The most overrated instrument in a rock band.
Overrated?
Yeah.
Overrated. I mean, overrated. I don't know. Saxophone.
If you were a ghost, where would you haunt?
Where would I haunt? I'd probably haunt my brother. They're fun.
Are aliens real and do they listen to indie rock?
I think they're demons. I don't think they're aliens.
Oh.
And they do. Yeah, they probably do listen to
rocking out.
Mac DeMarco. I don't know.
What movie terrified you as a kid?
The Exorcist. I don't know why my dad brought me to see that as a kid, but yeah.
If you had to eat one fast food meal for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Chick-fil-A, like chicken sandwich.
10 seconds.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever signed for a fan?
Skip.
If your music was a weather forecast, what would it be?
It'd be a monsoon.
Worst
3,
trend in the music history.
2,
Worst trend in music history?
Yeah.
1.
Dougie.
Nice.
0. We're out. Good job. You actually answered those very quickly.
Yeah, that was incredible. And you
Incredible.
didn't even ask, can I skip? You just skipped.
Yeah. So
People are
efficient.
always like, can I skip? It's like, dude, sure, why not?
Alexander Yearns is efficient, guys.
Yes, well done. So before we get going, we like to give you an opportunity to talk about anything that's coming up, anything you want to plug, any other projects you're working on, any new merch, any shows, any...
Yeah. Well, nothing's set in stone right now. Everything is pending and happening, just not confirmed. But I know things are happening. So just look out for the shows. A lot of shows coming up, and eventually an EP. It could be next season or the season after, but there's an EP coming for sure. And it'll include my first cover ever.
Wow.
Actually. Yeah.
That's a teaser.
Yeah, a little teaser.
All right. That's something to look forward to for sure. Well, thank you so much, Alexander, for being
Thank
an
you, guys.
incredible guest. We loved having you. You're welcome back anytime. And thank you all for listening to Bands and Beers.
Catch you next time.